You're so stupid and you deserve it. You deserve it because you're so dumb. Yes, I am gloating over your stupidity. You have been co-opted because you're in a cult and you don't even realize it because you have stupid MAGA brain and you don't get it. How stupid and dumb are you?
Lemon, along with so many other liberal commentators, are pissed. They're angry at the fact that President-elect Trump has so much more support now compared to 2016. And the desperation is evident as they're all over the news talking about this stuff right now. And it also doesn't help that the president-elect released an ad that could be the beginning of the golden era of the United States. And if that wasn't enough, guys, what used to be called a far-right conspiracy theory was just proven to be true. Now, it's kind of odd the truth is now coming to light as we're just moments away from entering Donald Trump's second presidential term. But let's go ahead and kick things off with the liberal meltdown that's happening as we speak. So Don Lemon, he's a prime example of just how unhinged the left can be. He's also the role model when it comes to how clueless some of these political commentators are. And I think Jesse Waters, he got the point across perfectly here. Check this out. Hey guys, I just want to thank y'all so much for being here. Thanks for clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel. I really do appreciate you guys' support. You guys sharing these videos on your social media platforms. You guys are the best. All right, let's jump in though.
Don Lemon past his prime. It's too bad. And now he's on his own where his lack of talent shows.
But CNN is generally considered left.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
Why do I say CNN is generally considered left? I think if you look at any sort of media survey of what is on the left or right, I think they would say, like, for example, Fox is on the right and CNN is on the left.
Yeah. So that's what is it?
Am I missing something here?
So Lemon doesn't think CNN's on the left. That should kind of tell you exactly how ignorant he is.
So this is the guy who's calling the MAGA crowd as stupid and dumb. And it's not lost on us that we know how news outlets lean, right? It's not a secret that Fox leans a little bit more to the right while CNN leans a little bit more to the left. It's pretty common knowledge at this point, I think, right? And with Don Lemon's profanity-filled rant, you wonder how they even think that TDS doesn't exist, right? It's also not just Don Lemon who's raging against Trump supporters with his Trump derangement syndrome. Here's a few political commentators that hate more than half the country. Watch this.
All those MAGA readers out there, now you'll notice the contradiction in terms, MAGA readers would pick up the Washington Post and they would have more readers. What is the logical fallacy here? Yes, reader.
The guy with the GED and his fake Oakley sunglasses and his goatee and his pickup truck, you know, the universal Twitter bro, that guy's thinking to himself, oh, well, I could have been the senior software designer at Google if only it weren't for DEI or immigration.
So that was Jennifer Rubin of the Washington Post and political strategist Rick Wilson. Now, again, their hatred for Trump and MAGA, it's at an extreme level, guys. Like, it is so high that they just don't even realize that they're alienating a huge chunk of the country. So they shouldn't be wondering why readers are turning away from their product. The same way that CNN and MSNBC are also losing viewers. Tiffany Brannon weighed in and made perfect sense with her comments right here. Check this out.
You know, I really think that because of the chokehold that the left has on propaganda press, on fake news, on these massive media houses, they have to boil the right and boil any Trump voter down into a caricature, because that's the only way they can try to maintain some real estate in this new world. You know, we can't be smart and vote conservative. You have to be stupid. And the fact of the matter is they want to make us stupid and then they want to keep us stupid. So I don't think they're going to learn their lesson. I think this is kind of beating a dead horse at this point.
Now, speaking of propaganda, let's talk about what the left considers as a conspiracy theory. They want us to believe that the influx of millions of illegal immigrants doesn't affect the housing shortage that we've been seeing over the last several years.
You're basically saying the United States doesn't have a meaningful border policy. And the Mexican drug cartels have become the wealthiest criminal organization maybe in the entire world because of what Kamala Harris has done at the border. Not to mention, like, I'm a big believer in the social contract in this country. Like, I benefited sometimes from a generous United States government, meaning a generous United States taxpayer that made it possible for us to afford things that we wouldn't have always been able to afford. So when you bring in millions upon millions of people, you degrade and destroy the social trust that's necessary to support any kind of a modern support for poor people, food assistance, housing assistance. You are not going to have that stuff if you allow millions upon millions of people into this country illegally, and then they get to take advantage of it.
Well, let's say you were successful in carrying out those mass deportations. One thing that everyone agrees on is that more housing is necessary in this country, right? The reason that there is a housing crisis is that not enough houses have been built.
And that we have 25 million people who shouldn't be here.
Well,
So these liberals don't want to admit that illegal immigrants that are taking up space and using up benefits isn't affecting the American people. They want us to believe that the housing crisis wasn't affected at all by these millions of people who are coming into the country who need somewhere to stay. Well, liberal media is now changing its tune as they're forced to admit that this theory was based on the truth.
Federal government reports that there has been a double-digit jump in American homelessness compared to last year, and an even bigger jump among families.
According to the government's latest data, more than 770,000 people were unhoused in a single night in 2024, up 18% from the year before and the highest number ever recorded.
And those shocking numbers were released by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. They looked at the number of homeless people between January of 2023 and January of 2024 and noticed that pretty steep spike in the number of people living on the streets in the United States. Now, what is behind this massive increase in homelessness? Well, if you read most news reports, they just simply say housing prices are too high, which is true. But what's driving the increase in housing prices? Why is housing so unaffordable? Well, we're about to break that down for you piece by piece. But before we do, there's something that you should keep in mind. So again, this data was collected by taking a snapshot of one night in January of 2023, and then comparing it to one night in January of 2024. So the numbers are about a year old. And putting that aside, let's dive into what the findings were. So the report on homelessness was, again, put together by the US Department of Housing and Urban Development, and the numbers are very bleak. So nearly every category of unhoused people grew, with the rise especially steep among children, 33%, and people in families, 39%. The number of people in shelters rose by about a quarter, while unsheltered homeless rose 7%. The rise in homelessness among older adults continued as well, with a 6% growth in those 65 or older. Now, much of the report actually focuses on one of the main factors behind this. So they talk about how the influx of asylum seekers immigrating to the country has exacerbated the housing crisis, because we already had a housing crisis spurred by the shortage of housing units available.
Remember that this is a federal report, guys. This is coming from the Biden-Harris administration on their way out. So now they're admitting that their open borders made all of our problems worse. But mainstream liberal media, they're acting as if JD Vance was lying to all of us, when in fact, he was actually telling us the truth. And it's not hard to realize that if only these people had a hint, just a little bit of common sense. But here comes the good news, guys. This is the year that everything starts for the Trump administration. And he released an ad that has now gone viral and has given a lot of people hope. Check this out.
Trump has left the building. We can now project the winner of the presidential race. Donald Trump wins the presidency. What started off as unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
We have a president who actually fulfilled the promises he made during the campaign. Securing the border to foreign policy.
He now has a record as president that's pretty damn impressive. Breaking news out of Palm Beach,
The FBI has executed an unprecedented search warrant at President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate.
The former president has both sides of the political aisle up in arms.
It is a dangerous and unstable moment in American history.
The Justice Department has just indicted former President Donald Trump.
For 7 years, they hated him, they targeted him, they hunted him.
This is the epitome of the abuse of the prosecutorial power to preempt political decisions.
I never thought anything like this could happen in America. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. America will always rise to every challenge and overcome every danger.
Donald Trump seems to always get stronger when challenged. These types of things, I think, give him strength.
When I'm reelected, I will totally obliterate the deep state. As long as we have pride in our beliefs, courage in our convictions, and faith in our God, then we will not fail.
Are you guys excited for Trump's second term? Now, while we wait patiently, we're seeing crazy things that are happening in places like Florida. There's also the friction that's happening between Republicans and Elon Musk. Now, guys, I covered that and more in a previous live stream that you definitely got to check out for yourself. As always, appreciate y'all being here. Thanks so much for hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you guys on the next one.